Hey there, here's what we're going to be painting today. Let's get started. Okay, I have an 8 by 10. This is just a canvas panel. I have it toned with there's some blue, some burnt sienna, some white, just to give it something on the back besides the white. We are going to paint a large circle. Here we go. I'm going to draw it. I don't like it in the center, so I'm going to back it off a little bit. Okay, perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I've got some white. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of blue to that. Okay. And we're just going to come in here and throw that paint on there. Really not enough blue. It's too stark, too harsh. That's why I never use paint right out of the tube. We're just going to get it in there. I'm just adding more white to that little bit of blue that I have there. Let your brush do the work. Let it shape the moon. Okay, we're probably going to have to come back and make a second pass, but that's okay. We're going to pick up some blue here. I'm even going to add a little bit of turquoise to that. And we're going to come out here on the edge of the moon. You know, I don't think I usually tap my brush in the water, and I don't think I did that, and that helps you to pick up the paint better. It just doesn't feel like it's holding paint well. So let's go again. There we go. That's a little better. We want to be light in here and darker out on the edges. Just picking up some more blue, pulling in some more of that white. Out here on the edges, we want it to be much darker. And we don't want it to be too perfect. Okay, so out here I'm going to work on some blue. I'm going to add just a touch of purple to that because I want it darker on the outside. Oh yeah. I'm going to set that palette down. I'm going to tighten up this easel around, and we're just going to add more paint to our palette, and it didn't hold it. I must not have tamped it down enough. I'm just adding blue. I'm bringing it in there. Putting a little more turquoise maybe into that blue out here on the edge. Bringing that on through. At this point, I could continue. I could paint the painting this way. I just happen to personally like the other way better. Okay, I have not cleaned off my brush. I'm picking up some white. I'm going to throw that in here. Yeah, oh, I love that. Yep, that's the part I really like. I like it when it starts to, yeah, add some atmospherics like that out here on the edges. Oh, yeah. My poor painting. Okay, we are going to flip it now, and I'm really going to get this bad boy tamped down right this time. There. I'm going to come back in here. It's not really quite dry enough. I might have to get my hair dryer out. I'm just trying to make a... Oh, yeah. I'm loving what's happening there. Kind of rounding it out. letting my brush do the work. When I say that, what do I mean? It's a round subject, so I shouldn't be going across this way. I want you to feel the movement in the moon. Okay, now I also don't want it perfectly white all the way around. Why, Sharon? Because when you look at the moon, you see other surfaces. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to come out here right on the edge, throw in some, oh yeah. There we go. Okay. I'm happy with that. And I know you want me happy. Okay, so we're ready to add our tree. I have a smaller brush this time, so we're going to mix up some brown. I've got some burnt umber over here, and I'm going to add some blue to that. I want it darker. I'm going to add even some purple. I don't want it black, but very close. Okay, so I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to come up. Now I start out with the brush like this, and then as I come across, I'm going to turn it and come all the way across. And as I come across, I get thinner and thinner, lighter and lighter pressure. Okay, so now we're kind of making an L shape sort of, or an F shape. You don't want it straight. So there goes that. And we're gonna have, I'm up on the point edge of the brush. I'm gonna bring it around, bring it down. There we go. I want one more branch in here. It's not going to be as big. I'm going to bring something out over this way because that was too harsh. And I might even bring that back around a little bit. Yep, that looks much better. Okay, so now we're going to put in some secondary branches, like down off over here. I'm on the point end of the brush, and I'm using very little pressure. Pressure and values are huge. Okay, so here comes a little branch. Let's take something up over here. Let's bring this one down a little further. Okay, and we want a couple out over here. There we go. Maybe one. Start here and bring it and curve it. Everything needs to curve. Also, that's not really big enough, long enough. So let's try again. Okay, I think we might have enough. Okay. I want another little stubby thing right there. Oh. Now I have a natural bristle brush. Tapping it in the water, tapping it off on the paper towel because the paint just comes up better. Okay, we're going to start with the dark color in the back on these leaves. You need some white in here because it's transparent paint. Okay, so we've got some, and the white makes it opaque. So let's add a little purple to that. Okay, we're just going to come in here and see. Tap, tap, tap. That might be too dark. Let's add some more red to that out here on the corner. Might not be able to change that whole pile, but I can work out here on the edge. There we go. That looks a little better. You need some dark behind it to so when you put the light on there, it really pops. And this is just tapping. That's all we're doing. You want it wider in the back of the pile of leaves and narrower in the front. Okay, let's come over here. You want them to have a curve to them. They need to droop. And again, they need to be wider back here than here. Okay, we're gonna put some right in here. And we're even gonna pull some off the edge over here. And we still have some we need on this. And the fun thing about this is you can put leaves anywhere. You can add some here, like it's coming off of another branch. There we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I think I might even pull some, I don't know, I might just take some in here. There we go. Okay. The thing about these cats is they are so stinking simple. Okay, so they take 2 circles basically. There's one here. And then his body is bigger and under there. I know you're having a hard time seeing it, but I can see it, okay? And you'll see it when I paint it. Okay, so there's the head, there's the body. Now let's get another one. He might be too squatty. Let's make this one. Maybe if you draw the body first, you'll have a little better proportion. And then this head right here. So one will be bigger than the other. Okay, so I don't use black. I make my own black. So I've got this same tree thing going on here. I'm going to add some turquoise to that, some more of the burnt umber, and some more of the purple. And that will make a very, very dark color, but it will not be harsh. Okay, so I'm going to raise him up. I'm going to put him in here like this. He's darker than the tree. That's good. And then his head will be taller. And we'll do the same thing to this one here. He's still going to be taller. Sitting on that tree. Now we're going to put his head in there. I'm just picking up this paint that I've mixed up down here. Okay, now we need some ears. It's just up and back down and up and back down, up and back down. Hopefully I'm not in the way of this. I tend to get in the way. Okay, so now we've got tails coming off the cats. Okay, so here comes this tail. He's going to swing this way. And when you get to the end, you need to get up on the point and let a real little point show up there. Okay, so now here comes this one. And he's going to go the same way. Because I have a branch here, I really can't make him swing that way. It just depends on what you've got in your painting. So here he comes down and he turns. There. Okay, so they don't match exactly, which is a very good thing. Okay, so this is probably dry enough, those leaves. I'm gonna get back out my natural bristle brush. I'm gonna pick up some yellow, put it over here, and add some orange to that and some white, because I need it to be opaque. I need it to be more solid in color. I'm adding some more orange. So see, I've got these two values here together. So yeah, that looks good. There's at least two different values difference there. So now we're going to come back with this, and we're going to highlight these leaves. Just tapping. I might make that go out a little further there. There we go. Just picking up some of that paint that I made. Just tapping. These out here on the edge are farther away from this light, so they're not going to be as bright as the ones closer in. Just picking up some more of the paint. Up here it will be a little brighter, and as it goes away from the moon, it's going to get a little dark. I'll just let it kind of fade away. Just tapping. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so we're looking pretty good there. I'm pinch wiping my brush. I'm just taking off some of that paint. Now I want to add some more yellow over here on the edge of my mixture. Okay, so I've got a lot of values going on here. I'm going to add just a touch of white to that. I don't want it to be too light yet. We need a minimum of 3 values to make something have form. So we're going to come out here on the edge of this. This is where the light stuff would be. It would be reflecting that light. So the ones here in the middle are going to be just picking up that paint. They'll be lighter than every other set of leaves. This part right down here is in the moonlight, so it's going to be light. I'm going to kind of leave that. Well, that's a little too dark. There we go. Okay. Just be very light pressure when you don't want too much color going on. So over here, we're just going to add a little. Up in here is quite a bit because it's closest to the moon. Out there, there's not as much. There we go. Okay, so you know, you need to stand back. A painting is meant to be viewed at 6 feet. And we're like right up on top of it. So you need to step back to see what you actually have. Okay. Okay, I've rinsed out my brush. We're going to put some highlights on the cats now because everything else has form, but the cats are very flat. So let's take some white over here on the edge and just pull off the slightest bit of yellow in that mix. See, there's the yellow we used, and now we're getting something much lighter. Okay, so we want to be very careful. We want to put some highlight in between the ears. Just touch and pull down. Touch and pull. Okay, same thing there. And on the ears, just, this brush might be too big for what I'm trying to do. We're going to come in on the side. There we go. If you get too much, just pull it off with your finger. And you can smooth it with your finger also. Okay, so here comes this. You can shape these cats to where the head looks like it's, you know, separate. You can also put a little bit of this like on the tail. There we go. I like what I'm seeing there. This guy here doesn't have quite enough. It's your painting. You're going to decide how much is enough. Okay, I needed a little smaller brush. I want to put some of that highlight on those ears. I'm just picking up some of the, I'm going to add a little white to that. It's almost gone. There we go. I'm just going to like maybe come in here along here and put that in, and maybe a little over here, and same thing on this ear, and a little over here. What we can do, this is not absolutely necessary, but we can put a little bit of highlight on the tree. So let's pull off some of this. I got some dark colors still going on in this brush, which is not a bad thing. Adding a little white, pulling in some of that yellow. Now I don't want my brush to have very much paint in it, so I'm pulling most of it off. I want to come in here. I might add just a little more white to that. It's a little yellow. So I'm not mixing it with what I'm just letting what is on my brush mix. Okay, so just going to come in here like this, add a little bit, maybe on the side to give it a little more form. Come on up in here like this. Down here. And we could even put a little bit on the edge of that. You could do this to all the branches, but it really is just totally up to you. You can kind of shape that cat maybe a little better. There we go. So you're just touching and pulling, or you're coming along in here like this, and I have such a little bit of paint on my brush, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so here we are. We have finished this fun fall painting. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you learned a few techniques and things in here. So some of the things you should have learned here are blending, how we started out with a light color and we brought in the dark color and we've just blended it out. We added a few of these white things here just to give it more of an atmospheric look. We have several values of leaves on the tree, and all we did was tap. We didn't put in individual leaves or anything like that. Okay, and then we put the cats in there. We've lighted them up on the side of the moon to where it gives them more shape. They were just black circles. Okay, but once we added these little marks, then the cat got some form. And so we also added some color on the tree itself as if it's coming off the moon. You could do a ton of work on that if you chose to. If you've enjoyed this video, I have two that I did last week, if you haven't seen, that are also tutorials, step-by-step, Halloween fall decorations. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Let's paint together real soon.